Our word for today is sight, taken from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10. As Jesus was leaving Jericho with his disciples and a sizable crowd, Bartimaeus, a blind man, the son of Timaeus, sat by the roadside begging. On hearing that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, "Jesus, son of David, have pity on me." And many rebuked him, telling him to be silent, but he kept calling out all the more, "Son of David, have pity on me." Jesus stopped and said, "Call him." So they called the blind man, saying to him, "Take courage, get up. Jesus is calling you." He threw aside his cloak, sprang up, and came to Jesus. Jesus said to him in reply, "What do you want me to do for you?" The blind man replied to him, "Master, I want to see." Jesus told him, "Go your way. Your faith has saved you." Immediately, he received his sight and followed him on the way. There were a couple of very important parts to this story. One, Bartimaeus' absolute persistence, his refusal to listen to those around him, all the naysayers around him, as he called out, "Son of David, have pity on me." No matter what they said to him, he would not stop calling out, "Son of David, have pity on me." And that caught the attention of Jesus. And then when Jesus had him called over and he asked him a very simple question, "What do you want me to do for you?" Bartimaeus was not confused in any way. He said, "Master, I want to see. I want to see." He wasn't confused at all about what his ailment was. He wasn't confused at all about what his current condition was. Not at all. So he made the very simple request to Jesus, "Master, I want to see." And Jesus said, "Go on your way. Your faith has healed you." And he received his sight, his physical sight. And there is no doubt that I'm sure that that physical sight that Jesus gave him was a blessing to him for the rest of his natural life. And then it meant nothing. After he was dead, what is physical sight going to do for you? Yes, it's a beautiful miracle. Yes, it's a wonderful gift. But actually, Jesus answered his request in a more significant way. The blind man said to Jesus, "Master, I want to see." Jesus said, "Go your way. Your faith has saved you." Immediately, he received his sight and followed him on the way. The gift that Jesus gave him was actually spiritual sight, far more important than the physical sight that Bartimaeus was requesting. Jesus said, "I hear your request, and I'm going to give you more than you ever thought for or thought of or ever imagined. I am going to give you the ability to see who I am and then the desire to follow me." Yes, physical sight was restored. What a beautiful, wonderful miracle it was, and a temporary gift. But he stepped it up. Jesus said, "I have something eternal in mind." Yes, this temporary gift that I give you is of some import. But the second part that I give you is far more important because the end of your life on this earth will not end this gift. In fact, it'll just usher it in for all of eternity because I grant you the a gift of the ability to see me, to see who I am, and have the desire to follow me. That is the higher of all the gifts, the highest of all the gifts, the gift of faith in our spiritual sight. Sight, our word for today.